So I have a new working theory that we all need to be able to run at least half a mile so we can run from an emergency or in an emergency. That even if you're not athletic, you're not in shape, you're older, whatever it is, you need to be able to at least carry yourself away from danger. Okay? So here's what I've done as far as research goes to back that up. For the record, I used to do triathlons and I've done sports my whole life, but I stopped running during the pandemic because I have arthritis in my knees and I was thinking, oh, I want to preserve them for the rest of my life. Like I don't want to speed up the knee damage. So I'll switch to just cycling and just other things. And now my theory is I think we need to be able to run at least a distance. So now I'm back on the treadmill. So I'll do cardio in other ways, cycling or whatever, but then I do now about a mile on the treadmill 3 days a week. So at least I'm like, okay, I can run a mile. It is very slow, okay? But it is keeping up that muscle memory. So the obvious answer is, and I'm going to read off my notes, is that if you keep up your functional fitness to the capacity for mobility, balance, strength, and resilience, of course, it'll help you in an emergency. So if you're able to keep your balance, you have some good cardio, you have basically physical resilience, it will help you in an emergency. Now that's obvious, right? So they did this test with college kids where they had them simulate getting out of a burning building and they tested their physical fitness and then they said, let's see who gets to the safety location, the designated location first. Now, obviously the people that were the most fit were the ones that got there first. It did say that flexibility didn't matter, but strength, cardio, all the sort of obvious things got them there first, or got those people there first. The point being that there's a direct correlation between fitness and being prepared to save yourself in an emergency. It did say that this was not just athletes that did it and not just first responders, but just people who happened to be fit got there early on. So you don't have to be an athlete. You just have to have some physical competence, like some physical fitness. Not competence. They did another version of this type of thing with the military, and they had them have to drag a simulated body and then haul a simulated body to safety. And of course, strength really mattered in this one, but of course, not just strength, because you do have to have the lung capacity because that starts burning up your lungs when you're doing that level of work. So of course, the strongest plus lung capacity were the ones that were able to complete it or do it the fastest. Now, this is all very obvious, right? If you're in shape at any age, you'll be more likely to get yourself to safety in an emergency, okay? And we're talking tsunami versus earthquake versus bad guy chasing you, right? Think of all the emergencies. But what it also does is now the science proves, as per my research, that it will give you the psychological advantage to getting yourself out of an emergency or handling yourself in an emergency. So the more fit you are at any age, the more likely you'll be able to mentally stay on the ball and get yourself where you need to be. Staying calm, making decisions, coping under stress. One more thing that the studies pointed out were that at any age, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, the exercise you want to be focusing on is strength and mobility, but specifically being strenuous, not just long casual walks. And as wonderful as those are, and you should definitely do them, the more strenuous the exercise is, the more benefit there is. It's scientifically proven. So yes, you could do your long walks or whatever, but if you push yourself to do 1 mile 3 days a week on the treadmill or out on the road, or you make sure that your walks are brisk and elevated on a treadmill, or you make sure that you're lifting weights that are hard, you will benefit more, and you should be doing that. You need to maintain your strength and mobility to carry you through the rest of your life, because ultimately falls are a massive issue as you get older. The data from 2020 and 2021 showed that there's tens of thousands of deaths a year due to falls in the older communities. And although sometimes the death isn't a direct result of the fall, sometimes it's the result of what happens immediately after the fall. So you could be hospitalized, but the decline can be swift and permanent. So this is all to say, back to my original theory, which is that you might hate running, You might not be an athlete, you might not be very in shape, but you should be able to get yourself to safety in an emergency, and you should do what it takes now in bare minimum, right? Getting a little bit of running in, getting some strength in, and keeping your mobility. This will keep your head in the game, and it'll keep you physically able to save yourself from whatever that emergency is. Again, running from a bad guy, running from a tsunami, running from who knows what. All right.